Reese Gray was not out there today?
Yeah, it's more of a precautionary thing. He needed another day to just kind of get his body right.
Adam, what's your assessment of Melvin Gordon?
I mean, he's made a lot of strides here in a short period of time. Obviously he's been their bell cow this year, and he's been, obviously that's what they wanted when they drafted him, and now with a couple guys that have gone down, it's even more on him as the year's gone on, and he's really risen his play and probably is exactly what they thought he was going to be when they drafted him. So he's tough. He's a tough guy to go against. He's got everything you want as far as speed, size. He can do all their protection stuff. So he's a tough guy for us to go against.
Him and Jay are from the same draft class. Do you see any similarities in their game?
I think they're a little bit different styles. For the most part, they do a little bit different scheme than us. So, but I think they're similar in the fact that both of them seem to have found their groove as far as sticking their foot in the ground, getting vertical, and using speed and power to help them get through the line of scrimmage.
Anybody on that defense you recall from your days as in Denver giving you a hard time?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple guys that are still there, and obviously they're defensive coordinators. We've gone against each other quite I think like 8 times over the last few years, so we know each other fairly well, and they're very disruptive up front for sure, and it seems like there's a great energy going on right now is with their front. They're playing a lot more coverage, so that front four is getting to the quarterback, and they're stopping the run, and they're making things difficult for teams to go against them.
And are there things you need to do to Phillip Rivers beyond what you would do to a normal quarterback?
Hey, he's always been a tough guy to go against, and I know there's been a few times that we've played him, and we've had a lead on him, and you feel good going in the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden you look up and there's 4 minutes left, and it's a 1-score game, or it's 3 points, or they've taken the lead. So I just know he's a relentless competitor, and he seems to find a way to get his group playing well. He's had a lot of changes over, especially the last 4 or 5 years, where either guys have left in free agency, guys have gotten hurt, and he's had a lot of moving pieces, and he makes it work.
What did you learn working under McCoy in Denver, the time you were together with him?
I think the thing I learned most of all was just about, getting everybody involved in what you're doing, game planning wise, how to handle the day as far as, being a coordinator. He was very open with me, every day why he would do something, meetings, preparation for a game plan, practice, all those type of things. So I think he really did a good job of teaching me the day in, day out operation of being a coordinator.
Why didn't you go with him?
Because I became the coordinator in Denver. We were pretty good. So.
Adam, with Parker still battling that hamstring injury, what's the expectation as far as him being able to play through that versus maybe trying to rest him for a week?
Yeah, I mean that whole group. I mean they're all banged up out there battling through a lot of things. So, I mean when you're coming off an injury and then you feel good and then you might have some minor setbacks here and there. It's frustrating for a while out because you want to be 100%. It's just never going to happen, and you got to figure out a way, best way for you to push through and try to, give max speed as much as you can. I mean, for whatever reason, he tightened up a little bit in the game and, made it real hard for him to get going down the field and then really kind of cutting. And, like today, he felt better and was running around. I mean, last week we had a really good day, one day where he almost looked like somebody I hadn't seen before. And, it's just right now it's hit or miss on every day, and we just got to keep doing things that can help his body feel as good as it can when we hit Sunday.
Does Stills have anything lingering from the illness, or is he back to full health?
Yeah, I don't know if he's back to full health, but he looked a lot better today than he did on Sunday for sure.
How did the color look today?
I think he's doing good. He's progressing, and he's doing more and more every day. He's taking reps with the defense instead of just doing scout team. So it's I know for him it's probably exciting to kind of get going and with the real defense being called, not just working off of cards for the scout team or just doing one-on-ones. So I'm sure he's excited just to be in that fray of competing in a real period for that side of the ball.
Are you optimistic for Sunday?
Yeah, we'll take a look at it. I mean, we got to go the rest of the week, and we'll just keep evaluating what we want to do there.
When a player like Jay Ajayi says he gets stronger with more and more carries as the game goes on, how is that possible?
I think sometimes it's rhythm. You know, it was something that I learned a couple of years ago, and I never thought of it that way. And what the O-line and the running backs is, you know, you start running similar schemes, and they get a better feel of how the defense is playing their blocks, and then the running back has a feel of how he needs to start looking at how the linebackers are flowing, how the safeties are fitting, and you get in a little bit of a rhythm. And I feel like with him, he's a big guy that I think he can feel it wearing on the defense, and it juices him up a little bit. I don't know if it's an adrenaline rush for him as the game goes on, but you know, he seems to really get stronger as we kind of get going in that third quarter, and then when the fourth quarter hits, I mean, there's almost like another gear that kicks in for him.
When you look at Jay's size and strength, and then also consider the tread, right? Like he didn't play much last year, and then he didn't play much earlier in the season. How do those two things factor into his ability to potentially take on a consistent workload the rest of the way?
Yeah, that's hard for me to. It's hard for me to say. I mean, when you play that position, it's just such a, you know, one of those things. It's about like recovery throughout the week, how we're doing, like what are we doing with him in practice, how many reps is he taking a lot of hits on the day that we have pads on, and then kind of how the game goes. I mean, we've been lucky with the fact that he's come out of these last few games to where he's felt pretty good leading up to Wednesday. I know he's working hard to make sure that he maintains his body as far as how he feels when we get practice going again, but you know, every guy's different, and it's really a week-to-week deal for how he feels. And, you know, obviously we want to give him the majority of carries, but at the same time, we probably need to be a little smart just as far as, you know, if he's carrying the ball 25 to 30 times every game, you know, what's that really going to do to him?
I noticed that Damian Williams touched the ball on 50% of snaps that he was on the field. How cognizant are you to try to capitalize on his skill set when he's on the field?
Well, a couple of times it was just the ball went there because of what the defense did. You know, on that third down conversion, I mean, he's far from the primary guy. And, you know, it ends up going there and due to what they did on defense. And he just seems to be a magnet for big plays. I mean, I don't even know what the ratio is of every time he touches the ball. It just seems like something good happens. So, you know, it's nothing that's by design. I mean, obviously when you run the ball, sometimes, you know, I find out I'm calling a play and I find out the last second that, you know, he went in for Jay. So sometimes it's just luck.
Adam, we talked at length about Jarvis and his fire and, you know, your desire to get involved in the game, his desire to be involved in the game. We talked to Ryan about it today a little bit. He said that he's got to be careful because sometimes people look at him and maybe some of the histrionics kind of draw a focus on him. Would you agree with that? And you're going to talk to him about the fine line between intense and then kind of out of control a little bit?
Well, I think there's a lot of us that have a certain way that we deal with things. I know there's sometimes that, I mean, you guys can't see it, that, you know, I'm losing a little bit of my mind. You know, just, you know, everybody handles it different. I mean, we all want to sit here and say that we want everybody to act like everything's all right all the time and you're not frustrated or, you know, upset about anything. But, you know, everybody has a different way of showing it. You know, I don't want him to worry about that. I want him to be who he is. You know, over time, the longer you play this game, you start handling things different, and that's a young player, you know, who is competing and wants to do everything he can to help this team win.
Is there any update on Gase Sims?
Yeah, he's still technically in the protocol, and you know, until they give us the green light that he's cleared to play, then we'll just keep going about, you know, the process they have us in.
Adam, when you say you've got to run the ball this week and stop the run, is that oversimplification or are those high priorities because of the specific opponent?
I think as far as the defense goes, we just have to play good defense. I mean, you don't really necessarily know how they're going to come out and play us. I mean, we can say they're going to run the ball, but, you know, they're going to do what's best, what they feel like they can beat us. I mean, if that's throw it 60 times a game, that's what they're going to do. So, I mean, stopping the run is going to be important for us because that's going to, you know, allow us to get ourselves in third and longer situations, which our defense does a good job when they get in those kind of situations. And then offensively, we just need to do a good job of making sure we're staying on the field. The last thing we need to do is, you know, give Phillip Rivers, you know, 14, 15 possessions because we're going 3 and out and our defense is out there 80-some plays. So, you know, biggest thing for us is when we do run the ball, we just need to be efficient. When we throw it, we need to be efficient.
With Lafayette Pitts, what did he do to get that promotion from the practice squad, and how can you see him helping the defensive special team?
I think he's a guy that we've been really excited about since training camp, really, or probably even before that. He's really shown up. He's got a little swagger to him to where, you know, you feel confident with him, and he competes every day in practice. I know he gives our receivers fits, you know, as far as anytime we do any kind of scout team, he competes. And then when we do one-on-ones, he shows the right things, and he competes on balls, and he gets his hands on, you know, balls to attempt to have an interception. So, you know, he's a tough guy for our guys to go against, and, you know, we like the attitude he brings, and we feel like he has good knowledge of our defense. And, you know, going forward, we'll just kind of see how this week plays out. You know, I don't necessarily know who's exactly going to be the guys dressing for the game yet. So as we progress forward, we're going to try to keep getting him better.
And the term game manager has been thrown around a lot in the NFL with quarterbacks. Ryan has been mentioned as such. Just curious of what your thoughts are on that term. Do you view it as positive, negative?
I mean, I look at it as the quarterback's job is to make sure he puts his team in the best position to win the game. So, I mean, I'm sure Alex Smith really doesn't care how many times he goes to the playoffs. I mean, as long as he's going. So, call the guys game managers. I mean, their job's to win.
With Duarte, what was his path to making the roster?
Well, we got a little, you know, obviously we were surprised last week as far as, you know, it looked like Dion was heading in the right direction and wasn't cleared. And, you know, we felt like that was the best thing for us because, you know, both our, you know, DJ was fairly healthy, but Q's been kind of on and off. And we just want to make sure that we had, you know, options available because we did want to play a little bit of the two tight end package and not just lean completely on the three wide receivers. So, you know, we felt like he was a good insurance policy going in that game, but he's done a lot as far as getting better, understanding the offense better. We're seeing improvement in the run game. We obviously feel really good about him in the passing game. His pass protection is getting better. He's just shown signs of improvement for us, and, you know, we want to do the best job we can to stay in-house and be able to move guys up and give them the opportunity that they deserve as far as being on the active roster.
That's good. Thank you.